Yeah, and I don't like doing that because then, it doesn't look official.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially because, we've got an on-join notice pointing people to channel rules, server rules, and, the link is,
we definitely
forever.
talked about that for hours, upon hours, maybe about 2 months ago. So we're definitely looking, at least the community team is definitely looking on trying to improve it, not just for Anarchy. Like we use this pretty much a similar system with all our products. We're trying to update them as much as possible. And that goes pretty much on the client too. I mean, we have seen the comments recently, of course, but the in-game events that are planning tonight and so forth. And, people want the comments or the announcement, at least on the client. We're definitely need to improve that as much as possible, but we're kind of limited on it as well.
And being able to introduce web content into the in-game environment better will free us from having to patch. Currently, if we want to have content within the game viewable in the game, it has to be patched out. And it really kind of ties our hands in the way in what we can provide story-wise and event-wise inside the game environment. So that's going to be very important in the future of the game and kind of making that area better.
Anything else?
Just along the same lines, just as a DJ and DSP, I'd love something like that, just to be able to do more than just play music and be able to talk about things like that on the stream for the folks listening to the station. Talk about the events that are coming up, get a little back and forth with the player base. I think that would make what we do much more interesting and more of an asset to the game too, to the players.
As I mentioned a minute ago, part of what I'll be doing from here on out with AO alongside my design tasks is also working very closely with the community relation team and trying to kind of help bridge a gap between events and CR. They're both our most publicly viewable teams inside of ARC, and there's no reason why they shouldn't work closely together. In that sense, we can communicate through community relations to the Gridstream guys about events that are upcoming. We can get information out to you guys and have a broadcast. So we're definitely looking to utilize that channel a little bit more.
Okay, first off, my friend Danny wanted me to relay this message. I hate the fact that you nerfed this track. Okay, he's been playing for 7 years out of 8, so he's rather upset about that, about PvP. So just figured I'd throw that in. I got my brother in the game, and he has a free account, and I started as a free account. As a matter of fact, at one point I actually said I was going to take my free account all the way to 200 if it killed me, and ended up paying it anyway. But I've started my brother out in the game, and I've been telling him about all the new stuff that we have as paid players, and he wants to know if there's going to be anything new for free players as well, because I know that, being as a paid player, you obviously want to go with the people that are giving you money, but as a free account, the free account is what hooked me, and I've been playing ever since.
Our free players are really important to us. We definitely realize that our free players, are a big part of our game, and of course we want to put in content for them. We've talked recently about the concept of daily missions that we're looking to put into the game. Those will be fruit accessible. So we are still looking to increase opportunities for free players to play. Get XP and go out and enjoy themselves.
Going from level 110 to level 135 is not any really less boring for someone who's paying us than for someone who isn't. It's some areas of the game they need spicing up, they need variety, and we're absolutely going to make sure we address that idea.
Yeah, and actually that's kind of part of what I just said, what, I'm just going to go ahead and pay it because I want to play, because I was stuck at level 140 on my Adby forever. And it's a melee Adby, and everybody's like, pistol Adby, and I'm like, I like my melee. I love melee. I love swords, I want to slash stuff, and shooting something from far doesn't take that much more skill than going up to somebody and be like, so.
We do know.
Yeah. Colin knows very well.
But yeah, I just want to say that, I love my Adby. I do.
I got a bit of a two-parter. With the graphics update, I know that obviously you're going to update the graphics. It's not going to require any kind of expansion or anything like that. Are you still looking to create a booster or expansion to simultaneously release with that update?
No.
No.
I'm going to say no right now.
Okay.
When the new engine comes out, We're not planning, by the way, you said update the graphics. We are not having the graphics team sit there and make a brand new version of every single playfield to go, because obviously the amount of material there is enormous. I could put 100 people on that project for 2 years before that would be done. I don't want to wait that long. I don't think you guys want to wait that long. With new lighting and new texture rendering, it's going to look different. It's going to be improved. Just having anti-aliasing in the client is going to make things look a lot different.
Yeah.
Small things that are going to be replaced is like, for example, all the trees. All the trees are being replaced. That we're ripping out, we're making new ones, and we're putting them back. The AO gardening team is going to be on it full time.
So I can't walk under the trees anymore?
Will the tree actually be on the ground this time?
Maybe. It is the future, and
I have a little hidey hole in this one tree, so that's why I always find I don't.
if the hidey hole is there now, it'll be there when the new tree is put in.
Do we have time? 4:52.
My watch says 11 o'clock, so.
That's what he has to do.
Yeah,
It doesn't help
that's
me.
almost 5. Yeah.
Yes.
Any more questions?
One last one.
Bang
You
it
guys
out.
actually currently have these storyline staff that are active, or are you still like keeping that relative hold for the end?
Storyline stuff?
Yeah, like pure storyline stuff, like possibly even for future expansion.
You're pretty much looking at it. I am the storyline guy now for AO. Like I said, part of my coming back involves me working much closer with the Architects team, and they are also my storyline staff at this point. They will be doing a lot of work with me over the next few months, setting up future storylines and kind of taking the direction of the game's story. So, yeah.
Borealis. Sorry.
Creatively speaking,
Right.
creatively
Sorry,
speaking, are you taking any like suggestions from the player base as a whole? I know.
Yes, well, yes and no, and let me explain this. Part of the reason why, for me, it's kind of hard to straight up take a storyline suggestion from the player base is that if someone out there suggests it and posts it on the forums, it's not really a surprise anymore when we do it in game. It kind of loses the value of something being new and shiny because everyone's already read the thread. I don't mind taking certain aspects, and definitely I'll do that. If someone has a great idea, I'll work it in somehow. But I don't like ripping off verbatim. I don't think it ruins the spark of role playing to me.
So as soon as you see a good idea on the forum, that means it's never going to happen.
As I said, you can take aspects easily. When it comes to storyline stuff, it's usually best to let things be a little more surprising for players. If you've got a 20-page thread devoted to something on the forums, well, it's not as much fun if I go and I do that exact same thing. I can take it and rework it a bit though, and make it feel a little more fresh. So.
And based on the sheer volume of material of that kind on the forums, regardless of what we do produce, there will be someone there who will say, "This was my idea," and point it and link to where they did write about it.
Yep.
You guys gotta remember that all forum feedback, any feedback, suggestions, they're influence. Influence over the designers. I mean, the designer's always gonna make his decision on what to do, but
We
always
only think it was our own idea.
yeah. And it's good influence. It doesn't mean you should stop.
Yeah, no,
it just
like-
means like the smallest comment you can make could influence the new change, which is good.
One last one.
I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying about not wanting to take content off the forums that's already been written and read.
Yes.
But what about having some sort of venue where players could could give you story content ideas, or write up a storyline and submit it privately to you, where it wouldn't be posted on the forum, or they could post it after the event, just as a readme thing.
We do miss the Archivist department. I can't necessarily stress the importance of our volunteer groups. I really can't. Those guys have been a magnificent help over the past few years, and like I said, that's where I started myself. And a lot of times, the great ideas that we have that have been forged, seeing the thread somewhere, hey, that's cool, let's rip that off, let's take this. they are the guys who help us nail down the specifics. I can't go and I can't quote the entire timeline. You know, I couldn't read you the piece of quarter tier. You know, but these guys, I can say, hey, I need an excuse for this to happen. What's the best way to do it? They can give me that. If you think that you have great ideas like that, by all means, I'd love to see you in the team. You know, if anyone has any interest in joining ARC events at all, please do.